everyone, I'm Holly with Missouri River Soap, and today I'm making some winter candy apple type bath bombs. I call mine Snow Kissed. I'm going to start with the baking soda, and I want 2,000 grams. I may be pushing it for this, for my little bowl, but I'm just going to go with it. We're going to start with about 1,000 there and get that mixed in. Okay, so there's the first batch. Hopefully I have enough baking soda here. Looks like I'm going to have to go get a new one. Okay, so this is the 2,000, and I'm just breaking it up and pushing it through this sifter to help break up any chunks. The baking soda tends to be quite a chunky, I don't know, powder, I guess, at first until you kind of break it down. I suppose it depends on how well compacted it was in the bag during packaging. Okay, so I don't want to put in these little bits. So now I'm going to add in some water. And I have found that I prefer the water. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of distilled water. I'm going to be breaking these into different colors, so I'm not coloring it from the get-go. And now I want 2 tablespoons of alcohol. I see I'm almost out of my 91. I'm going to go with as much as I can. It's pretty much there. I will just add a little bit of 70 because I have it available here. Time to get back to the grocery store for the alcohol. So I've been working on bath bombs already. So if you see a little powder, it's just because this is what I'm working on today. This is interesting, is it not? Sometimes it doesn't start. So I'm just going to let that run for a minute or two. So again, I've been working on bath bombs already today. So I want to put in some buttermilk powder. And I need 50 grams. I just love what buttermilk powder brings to bath bombs. It does kind of help it to have some like foaminess to the bath bomb. Okay, so for tapioca starch, I want 100 grams. It's going to be quite a bit, 5 spoonfuls or so. I do have to apologize. I was finally able to turn off all my air conditioning and fans long enough to do a video, and the guys in my life got out the mower and started working on a project. And that's just the way it goes. Okay, so now I'm going to use some coarse SLSA, and I need 100 grams of this. Whoop, we went over just a smidgen. Now, SLSA is highly airborne, so you need to either wear a mask or just be extremely careful, but wear a mask. That would be ideal. That's what your best option is. So I have these just mixed up, and let's go ahead and do the liquid. I started to measure out my fragrance to see how much I had left in that one bottle, but I did have to go ahead and sanitize a new bottle. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the fragrance for right now. I do need 50 grams of fragrance. 48. Not 50. I'm going to pour just a smidgen back out into this container because I went over just a touch. 49. I'm really particular when it comes to fragrance. That's the part I don't want to overdo. I'll just put this aside for some wax melts or something later. I do not put it back into the bottle. Oh my word. How is it still 49? 49, 49. There, 48. So now I'm using apricot kernel oil, and I need 20 grams. Oops, it's not wanting to pour very well. 21, we'll roll with it. So now I'm going to use some polysorbate, and I'm looking at my recipe up on, kind of taped up to the wall here. 15 grams of polysorbate. Some do half your oil, some do equal amounts of oil. And it just helps to emulsify the oils into the bath water, and it helps the colors, like if you're using micas, it keeps the micas dispersed, and it's just a dispersal method. I am also going to add 20 grams of the 70% alcohol. I like to add a little bit of alcohol in with the fragrance mix. I don't know, I like what it does. So I have all of the other ingredients all mixed up, and it'll just be a matter of me pouring and mixing, pouring and mixing. Now I'm going to make a little hole here, and I'm going to just very gently. The SLSA ends up down at the very beginning, down at the bottom of the sieve, so it should help with the flyaway. So there's some big pieces left over, and we just want to get rid of those. And then I just cover this up, like so. Okay, so now I'm going to pour in the oil mixture. And then I'll let this go for just a few moments longer. The key is just a lot of good mixing, I think. So I have some citric acid all measured out here. I have 1,000 grams of it, and I am slowly going to add this in. This up into 2 different bowls, and then I will add them back to this main bowl. I do have 2 mixing bowls that I could have split this up into 2, but I'm I'm getting ready to use it for something else, so I was keeping it available. Let's go right there. Okay. Now for this one, I'm going to add in a little bit of gold. It's a little bit smaller amount, I do believe, than over here. So I'm going to add in some gold mica that's approved for bath bombs. King's Gold from Brambleberry. I went to get out my Sparkle Gold from Nurture Soap, and then I realized that that was not approved for bath bombs, but this is not approved for soap, so it works out. I just sanitized it and we were good to go. I'm going to add in a little bit more. I'm not quite sure what this measure is. 1.25 cc it says. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to pour it into this bowl. And I'm going to take what's in this bowl into this one. I'm going to put in some red 27 Lake, and it'll just kind of be a bright, pretty pink. Let's see how that does for now. Put in a little bit of rose gold mica. I'm always light on the colors, so I have a lot of room to play. Now that wasn't quite the color I wanted. Alright, so we're going to go with this. I'm going to move over to my bath bomb press table. And I'll see you back over there. Okay, so here we are over at the bath bomb press station. I have a B3 Bomber bath bomb machine from bathbombmachine.com. And I've already been pressing some, so I'm already getting a little bit messy over here. So I'm just going to take my measuring cup and go back and forth. My batter's starting to mix, I should say. It's starting to dry out a little bit, which is helping me out. It was a little too moist at first, so I just kind of go back and forth. It's just how I like it. Not too fancy quite yet. So I'm just going to put it under here, get my arms out of the way. I use both buttons, so it's a safety feature. It keeps your fingers out of here. You can't do it with just one, and you can't do it if you're just not right in the middle. See, the things are just not happening. So both fingers, hands, arms out of the way. And I do sometimes do a double press. You don't have to, but sometimes I do. And I do tap just because mine's not wanting to come out today from it being just a little bit too moist. And that had to do with my using the extra, here we go again. Using the extra, I'm going to try to show you here where am I? I had a little bit of the 70% alcohol instead of 91, and so they're just a little bit more moist. They'll eventually evaporate, but it's kind of being a pain at the moment and not going ahead and drying out. But I find that I can work with it for quite a long time in this way. So it all works out in the long run. Let's see, we've got to get it, I like to fill it to 6 ounces and then it dries between 5.5 to 6 ounces. So sometimes I do tuck that back in there. Again, this is not going to come down. And that's just because I have OCD and I like how nice and clean it looks. So they're coming out much better at this moment. So I just have these little plastic bath bomb molds just to kind of help it keep its shape. My formulation does like to sink just a little bit. And so I tend to flip them and they still keep a pretty nice shape. They're just not as ball-like in the long run. But that, again, is my tinkering of the recipe to make it my own. So I don't have to do that, the double press. But see, I can't get mine out today. But just a little tap and all is well. So I just set those down in a little muffin tin. And that works just super nice. I'm hoping that maybe Jason will make a pan someday for us that they just set right down in. But this works for now. A lot of people do okay with the egg crate. But I don't know, I don't like egg crate very much, kind of weird stuff, so. You just gotta be a little ornery with it every now and again. It does come out just fine with a little, the old tappa, Chef John would say. The old tappa. So this is starting to get, it feels so dry. It feels dry, but look, it's still together quite nicely. And this is getting a little bit hard. And still just holding a shape super duper well, but turns to a nice powder very easily. I have a little less of the gold than the pink, so I think I will kind of shift back and forth a little bit more. And I do a little swoosh, swoosh. And that powder does come off, usually with a tap. Anyway, so sometimes we struggle with these bath bombs. They are very finicky. My last batch was just perfect, my figgy cream. I had 0 problems whatsoever with it. So wouldn't you know, this is the video I'm doing is the one that's being a little bit ornery. But it's okay. We can be a little ornery. What would we do if it all went really well, you know? Because I feel like if things aren't a challenge, then it's not happening for me. So if it's a challenge, then good things are coming. Does that make sense? I guess you have to work for the best things in life. For me, it's the gosh dang bath bombs. I have to tell you, if I was hand pressing these would not be happening at all. I would not even bother one little bit. Having a press changes everything. So what I'm going to do I'm just gonna put them half and half here as we get towards the end. I just love how these bath bombs that are pressed with one of these molds, and it has the Saturn ring, I guess is what they're called. I'm gonna try to grab this one. I just love the Saturn ring, and I just love how smooth it is and how it looks like a Jawbreaker candy, or not necessarily Jawbreaker. What were those? The oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, like a Sweet Tart sucker. Do you remember those from your childhood? I loved those things. See, here we are again. There we go. I loved those things. They were so fun. And these bath bombs remind me of those, just the almost chalky nature of those. I love it. Let's go pop that in. Give it another go. I just love how clean it makes it. They're coming out so much better now. Oh, I love it. Alright, I'm really not going to get that many more. And I will try to put on a demo at the end of this video, because I think that would be fun for you to see since I shared the recipe. If this dried out a little bit more, I would not be tapping these at all. Isn't that funny? Okay, so I have just a little bit here. We'll see what we can get done. I probably should rescue some of this also. So I keep some clean and sanitized paint brushes here so that I can help clean up my workstation. And then I will use this bath bomb usually as a tester. Alright, so this did not add up very well. This is going to be pretty tiny, and I think we're going to hear the mold slapping on the other one. Yeah, it definitely did. So do you see how there was not enough powder left in there? So it's kind of bumpy. It did still. Oh, see. They were falling apart here because there was not enough left. So that's just going to be some powder for fun. That's all. Alright, so I will see you back here for the demo. Okay, so here we are with the Winter Candy Apple Bath Bomb Snow Kissed, and this is that one where I managed to press it right down, the gold right down in the middle, so I thought it'd be a good tester. I like to use these little polypropylene baggies, and I just use a little twist tie, and that way the customer can open them, sniff it, close it back up, and it stays somewhat protected from the humidity. Now, I let my bath bombs dry for 2 to 3 days, and the humidity in my area is usually around 40 to 45%. It's a little bit lower now that we're moving into the fall area. So this way my customers can just open it up and be done with it. I don't like shrink wrap, but my husband doesn't like working with shrink wrap, so that's just what we do. So it just is so super cute. So it's not quite as tall. Whoa, get down here. It's not quite as tall as it was originally, but as you can see, it's still a very, very nice sphere. It looks like I have some very mild cracking right here around the rim, and that was from my mix being just a smidgen too wet. Alright, so let's give it a go and see what happens. Hopefully good things. Okay, so it's floating and it's spinning a little bit and it's fizzy. It seems to always break off those pieces pretty early on in the process. I'm just kind of doing the fizz and the spin. And the bubbles aren't going to be excessive, but if you agitate the water either with your hands or have the faucet running as you're putting it in, usually it'll create the bubble. This one did seem like it's sinking a little bit now, so that's too bad. I'm not able to test every single bath bomb, obviously, and some will float, some won't float, but you're still going to get an awesome, awesome bath. So it is floating right now. I don't know if you can really tell that, but it had a moment where it wasn't floating, but now it is back up at the surface. There's still quite a bit left now. Here we go again. You can see how the bath water is just a light pink color. I'm not seeing any shimmer or anything from the micas, just very mild. Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good. It smells amazing. There's still quite a lot left here. It's just moving right along. So let's look at if you were to turn on, say, your tub faucet. This is going to start exaggerating the bubbles. So if you want a heavier bubble in your bath, then you can go ahead and have the water running while your bath bomb is fizzing away. It just kind of activates those bubbles. Like the potential is there from the SLSA. And having the agitation, whoo, that's hot. Having the agitation really helps to initiate those bubbles. So another thing is to just use your hands and agitate the water. And of course, don't you do that when you're in the bathtub. Just you're swish back and forth, and that's just going to make the most wonderful bubbles. We still have quite a bit of bath bomb left. I don't have any strength in my hand I have strength in my hand. I don't have enough strength to crush it. My husband might be able to, but I cannot crush this. That's really hard. Ugh. So there we have it. We have the Snow-Kissed bath bombs. And I do hope you'll give the recipe a try. If you need any help, I will try to help troubleshoot with you. Bath bombs are so finicky, and what works for one person may not work for somebody else. But I struggled so bad with bath bombs, and so I just want to help everybody out if I can. My goal is a floating bath bomb that fizzes and moves through the water. Feels great, obviously. Lightly colored, and just has these lovely bubbles. Not too many. We don't want to overflow the bathtub, but just light bubbles. And whoop, there, I popped it, broke it, and there we have the Snow Kiss bath bomb. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.